on, Ethan? Not much. I added the dynamic sky shader to this, so it kind of rotates the sky texture, so it looks like wind's blowing the clouds here. Not really game changing, but you know, nice little feature. When's the map going to come out? Good question. Let me know. So we're going to be using Raphael's old seat tender here. Figure that's the one that's going to probably work the best, and probably the decent size for a little operation here. Got some messed up textures to it. Add that to the list of things that need to be fixed here. So I want to make sure this gets filled with seed. Well, it is hot as balls here today. I think whoever converted this mod did do a very good job here. So we're at 35% on the beans. We're gonna kind of fill this thing up to about 300 bushel here. Good enough for us here. Uh-oh, this thing doesn't trailer very good. This thing isn't trailing. I might have to put more weight on the rear. This thing does not trailer very good. So we're making pretty decent progress on this field here. This is going to be a big bean field, 308 acres. Then we got a couple cornfields to plant. Actually, I think we already planted one. We just have one left here. At the end of this this pass here, we're going to top off our planter and some beans. Do I live stream on Twitch? No, I do not. Wandering or wondering? Two very different things. I think if you could have bulls and steers and beef and anything, I think the more realistic, you know, the more of a farming simulator you can turn farming simulator into, you know, the better. Now, for now, I think it's pretty limited in the farming simulator part here. Alright, so this guy's off to the races, and this guy is doing tillage, coming to the end of this field. This field isn't as, I mean, it's still a pretty large field here, but so I'd roll our bean ground here, but I think it's going to be pretty much caught up with the fertilizing states. So if we go consult the oracle over here. By the time this guy does his headland passes, all that bean ground will be at the last fertilizer state. So. Don't think we're going to be needing to roll any of our ground. thing to pretty much get tucked away for the... Probably park this guy in the shed. May need to hook him up to this mower again. Let's check in on the workers. So this planner is pretty much giving this guy a workout. This is a 370R, and he's, you know, I would have figured he'd be pulling this this planner around, but seems to be on the struggle bus with this guy. So we got our corn growing in 38, then we got what are these other fields here? We own this bean field, 15. So 15 and 16, I'd really like to own field 16, that standing corn. I think we may end up leasing that, but just because we own the other two fields next to it. However, there's no easy way to get to it since it's all fenced off. We'd have to go down here past the dairy here, the cheese plant, and pick up this field. But it's a good sized field, a little bit awkward, but not as awkward as this little soybean field, field 15. So we'll just zoom out here. We got the bulk of this field done. A long ways to go still. So if I just put the camera here for a bit, you can actually watch the clouds starting to kind of rotate. They're kind of moving here to the north, it looks like. Well, let's see if we face this way. Which way do they look? Now they're going to the south. So I imported that shader mod from the Dynamic Sky, and really I think all it really does is rotates the texture. But it's kind of cool because, you know, it looks like the clouds are moving. You know, something different. So eventually we're gonna have to get a combine here. We traded in our old, New Holland, the 960. You know, it was a little small one. We'll probably end up getting a 680 here, courtesy of Raphael and Custom Modding. You know, I'm tempted to get a bigger header. We have an 8-row corn head right now, but some of our passes in these fields are pretty long. And I'm going to wait to see what our yield is. If our yield isn't that great, we might be able to get around with a bigger head, but I have a feeling that the yields in these fields are not going to really let us get by with a big head like that and take some long passes. But you never know. So we ripped 3 of our fields, two of our largest fields, they got plowed this season. And this is another field that we own. This needs plowing. It didn't get plowed. Unfortunately, we'll probably end up, you know, ripping this next year. Start to add some water plants. So this is Osceola Creek here. Kind of goes through the golf course. And all the way to the St. Croix River, which is way down there. So it's gonna be nice when this guy's done ripping. That means we can, you know, I should really see how this guy's doing on fuel. This guy just sucks the fuel. Alright, so he's got about a third of a tank. So he'll be able to finish that field most likely without needing to refuel. Might be pushing it. And this other guy down here, he's probably fine on fuel too. So this guy, he's burning about 28 gallons of fuel an hour. He's doing way good on fuel. He'll be able to finish this, I'm guessing. I think we topped him off with fuel before he started, and yeah, he should be able to finish. Let's see here. I think we also own this field. We spread this with fertilizer. It's already fertilized. We may need to hit it again with some fertilizer since we don't have an irrigation unit. Then we got beans over here. Also fertilized. We should be good to go over here. We do not own this field or this field. However, we should probably pick that up in a lease. They're not the biggest fields in the world, but probably add another 40-50 acres to our production. So this guy's just getting back now from our initial pass, so there's some long passes this guy's doing. It takes a couple minutes to get down and back. Well shit, I've been filming for like 20 minutes now, so that's probably a 15 minute per pass. 10 minute per pass minimum. Probably closer to 15 minutes per pass. You know, he's running into some hills here and kind of struggling. Really need to maybe upgrade the horsepower on this tractor. I don't think the 370's got enough ponies to really keep up that speed in some of these hills here. You know, these are some decent sized hills. And this guy struggles with a 16-year-old planter. What's going on, Bendick? I forgot to do with this guy is he kind of runs into issues with turning. So I'm going to bump that down to 12 meters. I don't know what you guys want to watch. Do you want to watch Tillage or do you want to watch the planet? Because that's pretty much all that's going on right now is... how do I know? Well, a 16X is 8 kilometer by 8 kilometers, so right off the bat, you know you need 8 kilometer by 8 kilometer dimensions. That gives you the 16X area inside. So you need to be zoomed out enough to fit that area just for the PDA map. And then you'd probably want an additional 8 kilometer on either side. Maybe not, but I mean, you need to zoom out. I think I have, I think with my distance, my boundary distance, it's about 24 square kilometer area that satellite images. And you just line it up and, you know, there's really no scientific method to it. It's basically just kind of eyeball it. Get it close, get it in Blender, and try to line everything up so it fits. You may need to stretch the UV map here and there. Going into this, I wish I would have took a larger picture because coming back to it, I didn't have the exact location where I took a print screen initially, so I kind of had to do a little trial and error to get my new boundaries to line up with my current. And the PDA map, I used to use the in-game. I used to like scroll out in Giants Editor and, you know, print screen that, make it fit. And basically what you do is you do the same thing with the satellite image. Just try to, you know, make an image that lines up with your current existing PDA, and then bam, there you go. Will the map ever be released? It's the wrong question, my friend. You're asking the wrong questions. Yeah, honestly, map making, it's kind of a double-edged sword. It is a bit rewarding, but you're usually never ever going to be completely happy with it. Because unlike a mod, like a piece of equipment for example, you model it, it's done, you texture it in-game script, and then boom, done. Where a map, you can always add more detail here, do better buildings here, you know, different textures here. So, like, a map is always kind of, always going to be a work in progress. It's always changing. You know, you may get to the point where you think you finished it, but then, you know, after playing it a while, things start to bug you, so you start changing things, or Giants kind of adds new features to the game, and so then you gotta kind of, like, change things around. So, it's kind of never... never done. How many hours do I got on Farming Simulator? Thousands. Between when I started at 13 and it's now 2018, 5 years of playing, literally thousands of hours. Thousands. Thousands of wasted hours. So I'm really not sure where I want to park my low loader, actually. we gotta pick up a combine at some point, but we don't need it yet. This guy, we don't even have an attachment for this guy. We sold the spreader box. We're supposed to get a sprayer. We don't really have money. What's going on, Stone Valley? Thanks, man. Map is slowly making progress. Haven't really done much work on it lately. Just been trying to play and do some live streams. So really, there hasn't really been a whole lot of work done on the map recently, except over by the ethanol plant, because we needed a sell point. That doesn't actually exist, but there really isn't a sell point in this 16-kilometer square area that buys grain. So that's kind of the downside of building a map up for a realistic area. Is there's a lot of features and giants that basically are in this area. Like one, the simple thing: where do you sell grain? Well, there isn't a place. Where do you sell wool? Well, there really isn't a place. Where do you sell wood chips and lumber? Well, there really isn't a place. So, there's a couple examples of things you kind of have to, modify out of a realistic area to accommodate those features. FS21, I would say that's probably an accurate time frame, actually. There's no way this will ever be ready by 19. Not even close by the end of 19. I would say it probably has another 2 to 3 years minimum of work just to get complete. And we're not even talking refined complete, we're just talking kind of like dirty complete. Everything's pretty much roughed in, but there isn't a whole lot of fine detail in features and things like that. Optimize. Just getting to like phase 1 completion, and then you got to go back through. However, I've kind of been trying to build areas that I'm playing, and really trying to get to a level of detail that's acceptable. So I imagine the next area that I really need to work on are like, these trees, they need some touching up. This farm over here, it's a bee farm. It's really not functional, but it needs to get built, so it's kind of a nice, kind of aesthetically pleasing, static, farm. If I'm going to be farming over here a lot, and then, getting all these houses, things that really have no function, but they add to the visual effect, so to speak. Yeah, 16x is a large map. It's 16 times a 1x. Obviously, it's literally 16 times more work than trying to make a standard size map. However, I'd rather put in the time to do that, because I made a 4x map before. I've edited 1x maps before, and the thing is, when you're done with a 4x, you're like, God, I really wish I had more, and you really don't have that option. So I'd rather start with the 16x, because I know I have enough area, I have enough roads, because now it's real nice when you can actually drive like 8 miles down the road, if not more, because now we're starting to get some nice trucks for the game. If you wanted a steering wheel and things like that, having the infrastructure is key. That's the one thing I didn't like about the 4X, is it wasn't big enough. It's big enough to farm for one guy, that's right, but like I'd rather do a lot of trucking when I'm selling my grain. I don't want to go like a mile down the road to sell my grain, and I don't want to have multiple sell points. This map only has one sell point for grain. So wherever the hell you are on the map, wherever your farm is, you're gonna have to truck grain a ways to the single sell point. It's a little bit more realistic. The beef, yeah, I wouldn't mind beef. However, like I'd rather kind of keep this game. You know, I don't really want to add a whole lot of features to the map because that's just, you know, by the time I get around to converting it over, that's just one thing that needs to get eliminated. Because chances are it won't convert over. You know who you need to talk to is Random Sparks. He's trying to get beef working in Lincoln Creek. So Stone Valley, if you were to get in contact with him, I'm sure he would appreciate that. I don't really think I would benefit so much from the beef. I mean, it'd be cool. It's just that I'm not running a beef operation right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if Giants didn't end up adding beef to the core game. You know, that's like the next logical step. You have pigs. First of all, why are you adding horses over beef? I don't know. That's a argument and discussion for another day. But I definitely think 13 was kind of the cream of the crop when it came to. Not only did you have soil mod, you had MR, more realistic game engine. You also had beef in buyable objects. I really think 13 was kind of the peak. Granted, mods have gotten a lot nicer in terms of like modeling and texture, and you know, the new light shader, you can do a lot more work at night. But I think in terms of gameplay, 13 was probably, you know, granted I never played in 09 or 11, but 15 really wasn't as good as 13, and you know, 17, although Seasons is really great, I do miss the soil mod and, you know, things like beef and such. Somehow this is actually really entertaining. You know what? I'm just as surprised as you. I don't even know why people watch me kind of like ramble on and watch mooring tractors, you know, go back and forth in the field. You know when it gets really entertaining is when people get in Discord and start just giving each other shit. That's when it gets entertaining. Also, I'm not really sure which scale Giants was using when they built these houses. Okay, cause, let's say this guy's supposed to be like modeled off of 6 foot. I don't really know what. Okay, maybe. I mean, 6. I don't know. I feel like the scale in these houses is very tiny. I mean, this is a door for a hobbit. Let's be real. This is a hobbit door. If this guy is modeled off of 6 foot, this door is about 5'4". Also, one of these houses has garage doors on it, and these garage doors are minuscule. And you're supposed to get a full-size pickup in this door? Are you kidding me? Anyways, I'm pretty sure Giant's house scale is about 15% underscaled. Alright boys, probably gonna call it a night here with the streaming. Might be on later. Anyways, thanks for watching.